Welcome back to another episode of the morning show. It could be the midday show, it could be whatever time of day you are watching us. I am Carrie Little, and I am here with my twin sister.
Dr. Amina Blazy.
And we thought today, after a busy week of preparing for classes, teaching classes, the work week, and some of the kind of cool questions that came up in a recent class that Mina taught, we'll talk to you about what we've been working on when it comes to AI, maybe video, being uncomfortable, creating content for social media. So Mina, want to talk about what you are recently working on, the course you just taught. You probably need to teach that again. And
Right.
how it didn't, the class was great, but it went a different route with one of the questions.
Yeah. So the class was using ChatGPT as an AI brainstorming buddy or brainstorm buddy, like a partner in crime. Like, who would you call if you really needed some help, like, and to hash things out? And for example, like I call Carrie, but she's busy all the time. So, or maybe not busy all the time, but
Right.
like, like
Scheduled.
I can't get to you because you have work and you need to, your business is your business first. And or so like I could go into, or whoever, like I call friends, like, hey, what do you think about this? Well, not every people aren't available all the time. So using ChatGPT as like this partner in crime, like I need help on whatever. And so recently I did a quick 30-40 minute course. And my idea is how can you use ChatGPT as a brainstorming buddy for social media? That's what I was going to focus on. In education, like how can you help you write lesson plans and get it to slow down and not just tell you what you were going to do, but partner with you. Well, that didn't happen, which could happen, but it was more or less I was showing people how to use prompts, but to slow down and get it to like talk with you. And then some questions came up about, well, I need to enhance my social media, and it's just not, I'm not increasing my viewers, my what's the numbers? Like the amount of people that
Followers.
have followed me, yeah, or subscribed on YouTube. So I was like, well, let's do something. So like I took a screenshot of like your Instagram and said, "What's great about this? Why is this person doing well? Tell me what you notice." Like, and it just spit out everything that you're doing well. And I was like, "What?"
You
Like,
should go do it because I didn't get to see this.
okay, you know what? Let's go. Like, and it was kind of a surprise, and we could pick anybody. So I'm sharing.
Do me so it's safe. So at
Yeah,
least
we could pick anybody, but like, okay, so this is me. So I went home and I was like, I searched a real estate agent and a couple people came up, but like, here's you. Like, so I was like, I kind of like minimized it as much as I could so I could get a little bit of everything. And then I had to use my Mac to do the screenshot. So I'm reaching and I took the screenshot. Okay. And I went to ChatGPT and I found it, and it's always on my desktop. I grabbed it and I said, "Remember, you are my AI brainstorm buddy. I want to enhance my social media. However, I am having trouble with engagement and followers. This is an example of someone that is doing well. What are what is happening here that I can possibly do for my IG account? What do you notice? What can what is great about it? Like whatever. And so I talked about a prompt, like what's the context, what's happening, and I gave it an exemplar. I gave it an example. So, okay, it says clear bio, actionable tip for you, highlights your niche as a real estate agent. Um, it I don't know why it wants to use me
Because it
because it knows
knows
I'm in FOMO.
it might know
It knows
like
who
the
I am.
area you work
And I
in. Like
said
it
that
might
I was
know.
pretending to be one. And then profile a professional welcome photo. It's telling me what it wants me to do here for me. But no, tell me what is great about this IG account. Strong personal branding. Here it is. The account owner represents a cohesive image with a professional profile photo, bio content, like authentic personality. They blend personal and professional content. Like, and that we kind of talked about that. Like nobody cares how much you know until uh, they know
They
how
just
much you
want you to be
care.
you.
They want you to be yourself, and we people tend to want to do what other people are doing. But like I can't be you, but I can be myself. So it's like it's engaging, it's diverse content types, it's educational, posts with tips, strategies, and insights. It's relatable posts, visual appeal, high quality images and videos, text overlays, cohesive feed, interactive stories, regular posting and consistency, like clear call to actions.
So
It's telling you you have a niche authority. So that this is a little different than what it told me the last time. Reels and video content, community focus, like that. And then what I did is, and I don't know that I want to do it right now, but and then I took mine and I was like, well, this is mine. What do you think? And it told me about myself. It said,
let's do it. No? Yes, no.
well, I don't know that it will do the same thing.
Well, you could
Um,
show us what it did, and maybe you could go show
well,
you the history. Unless you don't want to, that's fine.
no, let's go. Let me find it because it was a whole lot was happening in here. Um,
But what's cool about it is that it helps someone understand that they can make adjustments and corrections, or it helps you see what you're doing well. It helps you see that this is actually working as opposed to just not knowing. Although you could have also, I could upload maybe my insights.
yeah,
So if you're someone out there and you're like, okay, who do you want? Who do you like? You could go take a screenshot of their, zoom out, go take a screenshot of their Instagram or their YouTube channel. And then you can upload that to ChatGPT and say, what is this person doing well? This is my niche. How could I tie this concept into my niche? And ChatGPT might say, this might not work for your niche, but it might work for your niche. And the fact that you had someone that asked you the question about how can I make something like this work on social media is true value for any industry.
right. So okay, so this is what I did. I said, which of the so I put like this is me. I'm not an agent, but I want to connect with trends. What do you recommend as a partner collaborator for me? So it said it's kind of told me like build consistency and branding. But it gave me a question somewhere in here and it says like pick a consistent filter your or lighting, use the same font and colors. And then it said, would you like to brainstorm what colors or vibes fit your style best? So I was like,
Okay.
okay, down here, I passed all of this stuff up. I was like, what colors fit my vibe? And it told me. Like this was, warm, approachable, but this is what it said first. Like this is after I did it, but up here
Mhm.
it said like a navy blue. I want to find it. Where does it say that?
And it could be
Here it
based
is.
on
This is
what you
what it
have
said.
on.
No, it said from there it said navy blue, crisp white, and soft gold champagne.
And
Like
it
I
could be
asked it
based
to
on what you have on. It could be based on your background colors.
right. So let's go look. Like it did see that, but it had these pink and it was like, I don't think so.
Because if you actually go Google pink or you look up brand colors, pink is the worst color to use in marketing. I mean, and that's just based on research. It doesn't mean you can't, because there are people that are really, if you're going to use a color that is a pushback color, you have to be so consistent and deliberate so it becomes your brand. Because there are agents that I know that their whole color is pink. there are industries, let's go with the nail salons, the hair salons, people, women that are selling clothing
Right.
lines. That could be pink focused. But if you are going to do it, you got to go to if you do the research, it is not a color that will attract everyone. So if you're trying, if as a real estate agent, if I'm trying to attract everyone, pink might not be it, because I might lose an opportunity to work with someone that feels like, oh, all she does is work with women.
Women. Well, what I decided is I'm going to actually try those colors, and I'm going to be consistent and just try those main colors and see what happens.
Because
Like
even when
I,
it comes to filters, I always use the same filter. So it was interesting that ChatGPT figured that out. So you had a question um, about how to, I'm afraid to use YouTube, and what do I do with YouTube? What did you do with ChatGPT with that?
well, first of all, we talked a little bit about. First of all, I get nervous, and I even get weirdly nervous when I'm just recording by myself. And once you get going, there's something that I just want to say this. It's something that happens to the brain. You have your own natural epinephrine. It's like when you go jogging or you do some quick jumping jacks. So typically you will start to get into a happy mode. So if you don't, and it doesn't happen to you, I would tell people do 10 quick jumping jacks. I would do something real fast and rigorous before you record. So there was the conversation was is I don't know that I'm struggling and I'm not sure how to do this. I don't even know how to start. First of all, let's go back to in the beginning for me. You told me to just start. And I was so uncomfortable because we compare ourselves to everybody else. Like that's a problem. So there's room for everybody. I remember you saying to me, there's so much industry, there's room for everybody to offer what they know. Because what I have in my head is not what you have in your head. And and when we say to ourselves, yeah, but somebody's already doing that, but they're not doing you. So that was, we kind of talked a little bit about that. So what I did is I was like, instead of talking about that actual specific content, it was more or less, let me find somebody that's doing what you say, because there might be somebody, and I found somebody. So I found somebody, took a screenshot in YouTube of what that person was doing, threw it into ChatGPT with the content that we kind of created for this person to do with their real estate industry and who they wanted to focus on, their niche. And it came up with some ideas on what they could do. And the person was concerned about their appearance. And then this person actually somewhat looked like them. So, in other words, whether you're tall, whether you have short hair, long hair, you worry that you have a blemish on your face. No, people want to know what you have to say. And I think that was the like getting out of your head about what people think about you. And first of all, social media will cut you down if you let it. I don't respond to crazy, because just
And
like
that
in
what's interesting
person.
that you say that is, depending on, because you've talked about this before, the our generation is the we didn't have the internet generation, and we are the generation that we got thick skin. And so even on social media, when someone makes a negative comment, I'm like, okay, whatever. But the next generation is so driven by social media, I could see why people would get stuck. But exactly like what you just said, is if someone is commenting and it's not a comment that is true, you could just keep moving on. And tools like Instagram, their algorithm will hide the content. So if you don't comment, if you don't touch it, it'll hide the content where no one else can see it.
Yeah. And so, the we played outside. We probably played outside really young. And then after like the 1990s or 1995, the play became online for kids. So they didn't get this thick skin, and whatever people would say, they took to heart. They didn't have the ability to work through the emotional crazy of somebody talking about you and putting you down and
Right. Because
stepping
we
on you.
back
Like,
then it might have been an actual, I'm not saying do this, but it was the you would argue, you would debate about it. And
you
online they
would
could
some
just
people would, push and shove or whatever it is, they would be able to work through the controversy or the conflict, where the conflict now is you want to argue with, it could be a bot, like, so
and
people
you
take
don't
that
even know.
in. And so regardless of when you start, just know that people are going to say stuff and I ignore it. Or sometimes if I feel like I don't want it in my feed, I've actually deleted it. If it's mine, like I can make it go away and be like, boop, and block that person. Like I have control over what I can do. Like the only thing you can control is what you do. You can't control what anybody else says, but you can go click, delete, buy.
So, so now
But
that
the
you've been, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, but start just like I'm still uncomfortable, but we get comfortable with the uncomfortable. I get like once I start, I get going. I'm like, okay, you can only get better. You know, doctors practice, people in sports practice, educators are always in practice, real estate agents are always in practice. You get better because you become consistent. And that seems cliche, but I'm telling you, when you said just do it once a week, I'm
You
better.
just got to keep,
I'm
and
just
here's,
better.
and people will say to me, Carrie, I want to do what you do, but I'm terrified now. And I like to give my story of when I first started teaching in the real estate industry. When it came to tech, I understood the tech, but I was teaching tech that I had to learn. So it was hard. And the first time I had to teach a webinar on WebEx, I started to hyperventilate and sweat, and that's when they turned the cameras off. We didn't have the functionality to turn our cameras on, and I'm like, why am I nervous? Nobody can even see me. And I had to learn that the people in the room were coming to learn from me, and they don't know what I know and what I don't know. Now, I can say my first time I taught continuing ed, I quickly learned that I would prefer to write my own classes. And the second one was if I was going to teach someone else's class, is I needed to read through it well, but have my own examples. Because right now I'm teaching a designation, and even though I'm teaching it from someone else that wrote the course, when I get to certain sections, I have to have a story. I have to be able to relate it back to the industry and not just go through the content because then it's boring. But it was the practicing teaching to small groups, then they would get larger because no way you could have ever said I would be teaching to 200 or five. I've had 500 people on a webinar before, and
Oh my goodness.
it's no, I mean, and it's really today, it's no big deal. You could put me in front of a room of 20,000 and it would be no big deal. But there was a time, and I remember I watched, it was right here in St. Charles, Illinois, and it was at our real estate conference. And I remember Marky Lemons was teaching a course on short sales and foreclosures. And there had to be 500 people in the room. And I was like, ain't no way. And I was teaching, I was like, no way would I ever do this. I could feel the anxiety. And I couldn't even get up in front of a room and do a speech back in high school or college. And then what I learned was just like what you said, it's just start and just creating, even if, just creating short videos and doing it enough. And I always tell
Right.
people, create the video and don't go back and watch it. But you have to start somewhere or you will never get over the hump and the fear I mean, you could call me to be on the news and I could do it and I wouldn't be nervous. I would just, and when I say I wouldn't be nervous, I don't care if there's a million people watching. I know what I know. I'm studied. I could I can pull things out of the sky. You could put me on a panel and I would be okay. Now, if it's a concept I don't know, I have learned to say, even when I teach, if you ask me something I don't know, I'm going to say, I don't
I
know.
don't know. Right. So, and one of the things that I realized, even with YouTube or going on Instagram and posting, first of all, this is where we are. If you want to be connected to the world, this is how you're connected to the world. You also have to balance the idea of, are you going to be the scroll, or are you going to offer information that's helpful? Because whatever you put out is what you get back. So, because that's the algorithm. And what I realized was I am an administrator. I'm in education. So I've been a principal and an assistant principal. I was an assistant principal of a school that had just under 4,000 students. So when we talk to families, let's just assume that all the families had two kids. That means there were times where I would have 1,000 to 2,000 people in a room. Or when I was a principal, let's say there were 700 at one point students. If every parent only had one kid, that would have been 700 parents. I'm going to go with, I would have 200 to 300 people, 350 people in a room. And I realized that that was my comfort zone. I could talk to parents about helping their children, and then I could talk to teachers about helping, provide the best education for the children that they have, not the children they think they should have. And now I have the privilege of helping principals and teachers become better so that the community and the students become better. So I started to realize that my niche was helping the community to educate the next generation, which, and I can still help other communities because education is education. It's, how are you going to learn it? And ChatGPT, I'm telling you, it is a game changer. I've had people tell me that it's going to make you, not intelligent. It's going to fry your brain. It's not going to make you smart. And those same people are still using it, but they've told me I shouldn't. It has organized me. It has made me use different grammatical language. Maybe instead of saying I could or you could, or might you consider? Like there is just like different things that I had not considered. And if there was some type of verb issue, like, well, why would this be better than this? Or an email, like this email sounds rough because like how can I soften this email like that? Like, or I need to create an email and I have an email header. I need to send it out to people who I want to come to my webinar and remind them, like create that for me. And the YouTube, like anytime I do a YouTube with ChatGPT and I'm in the same text, I say, after everything we just did, I just did a YouTube, showed this, what would be less than 20 sentences for a description, and then give me hashtags. And then I could tweak it a little bit and remember to use my voice and, like make it fun. And it even gives you emojis now. Like, why am I working? It's not my life's work. Why am I working that hard?
And I'll tell you this, we might need to continue this conversation on the next episode, but I literally was asked to, I was creating a drip campaign via email for email.
What's a drip campaign?
So I was creating a drip campaign for email, and I was given 8 templates. And the 8 templates are emails that would be sent out after, for example, you created I did a master class called It's the Final Countdown for the real estate world. And the goal of the drip campaign in email is that once you sign up for my on-demand masterclass, is you get an immediate email. And that email tells you something and gives you a tip. And it's a 8-day straight email system. Now, people may or may not unsubscribe, they might, but it's to get them to actually watch the video and sign up to be a member in my real estate agent membership. So when I was given this, because I hired someone to help me build out the content, and it was a fill in the blank, like brackets, like put this here, put this here. I'm like, I had done the first 2 emails and I was like, this is too much work. So I literally, because I had already created the webinar and using tools like Zoom, I can take the transcript from every video because it had 3 videos in the on-demand webinar. So I had the transcripts because AI is in Zoom. And so I went to ChatGPT. I had taken the entire template and I took my transcript and I created a prompt that said, to basically edit the email templates with my transcripts. And I added the links, I added a blog post, I added everything that was in the email templates. And in 60 seconds, I had every single email for the drip campaign. And the benefit of this is the goal is to get you to keep seeing me. So you eventually sign up for something, and which is the webinar that you.
What is a drip campaign?
That's what it is. It is an e-blast of it drips to them after. It could be every week, it could be every month, it could be every day.
ChatGPT, pre-scheduled messaging, targeted content, automation, clear objectives.
Right. So there you have it. My tips for all of you would be is when it comes to ChatGPT or AI, use it. And I would say use it every single day. When it comes to creating content on social media, pick a day to think, and it could be ChatGPT. Pick a day, and you could do all of this in the same day to create a video and a post, and then post. If you don't start, you can't actually become a content creator. And get over yourself, because over time you will get those 10,000 hours, and it just gets easier. What about you, Mina?
You know what? I'm going to agree. Because the 10,000 hours is on average. Like some people get there faster than others. We know that because you see people skyrocket depending on what trend or what content they have. Um, I would say be okay with the way you feel. Like sit in it, embrace it. If you feel like you're getting worked up and you get like, chalky, weird sensations before, that's normal. It's not, it is what it is. And just pick a day where you're going to take 5 minutes and start creating your whatever it is. Like for me, I really focus heavily on YouTube right now. And sometimes you got to do one thing at a time. You don't have to do it all at once, but if I create a TikTok or an Instagram, I decide if it's something that I can put on YouTube Shorts, um, Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels, or TikTok. It go in all those spaces, and if not, because YouTube Shorts really for me, what I'm getting is not so much a lot of educational in the shorts right now, but I'm slowly starting to see like tips and tricks, not just the trendy dance. So
So tell
that's
everybody how to find you and how to subscribe
yeah.
and where to follow you.
So on YouTube, it's MJBLAZY. That is the one place that I'm MJBLAZY on YouTube. Everywhere else, it's Mina J. Blazy. So Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, and all those other fun places.
So, and I am Carrie Joe Little everywhere. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channels,
Yes, please.
and, and not just subscribing to our YouTube channels, also make sure you follow us on Instagram and TikTok, and make sure you join us every Sunday where we go live